Where exactly are we? The third day. Bible Mystery Decoded. Isaiah 6 1 and 2. Come, let us return to the Lord. He has torn us to pieces, but He will heal us. He has injured us, but He will bind up our wounds. After 2 days, He will revive us. On the third day, He will restore us, that we may live in His presence. Let's see if this prophecy was fulfilled in history. Well, first of all, we know that Jesus was crucified in 30 AD, and that's when the persecution began. Whose persecution? Israelites. They lost their nation in 30 AD, and that marked the beginning of their fall. So, if you add 1000 or 1 millennium to 30 AD, that brings you to 1030 AD. Here you have 1 millennium or 1 prophetic day. But the prophecy said that it would be after 2 days that they would be revived. So if we count from 1030 AD to 2030 AD, you have the second millennium or the second prophetic day. Okay, now remember, Hosea said that on the third day they will be raised to live in His presence. So when does this third day begin? Well, from 1030 to 2030 AD, that's the second day. So the third day is from 2030 AD to 3030 AD. But before that, in the second day, their nation would be revived. Well, history shows us that after hundreds of years being scattered, abused and banished from Israel, amazingly, the Jewish people found victory against their enemies and their nation was revived and established in 1948. And also notice what Jesus said at the Last Supper when there was almost time for Him to die. Matthew 26:31. Then Jesus told them, "This very night you will all fall away on account of me, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered." Also in Luke 21:24, the scripture says, "They will fall by the sword, and will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles, until the time of Gentiles are fulfilled." Zechariah 13:7. "Awake, sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is close to me, declares the Lord Almighty. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand against the little ones." Did the scripture fulfill? Let's see. The fall of Jerusalem, also known as the Jewish diaspora. Exactly as Zechariah predicted, Jesus was killed in 30 AD, and 40 years later, in 70 AD, Jerusalem was destroyed and then people of Israel were taken captive. 614 AD, Jerusalem was then captured by the Persians. In 1099, Jerusalem was then captured by the Crusaders. Jerusalem would continue to be passed from one Gentile power to another, but God would save them. In 1948, the Jews regained Israel. In 1967, they defeated their enemies and regained Jerusalem. The words of the Christ were fulfilled. But why 1948? Guess what else? Even the year 1948 has significance within the Bible, because Abraham, the father of Jewish people, was born exactly 1948 years after God created Adam. So not only does this prophetic code of one day equaling 1,000 years show the millennium, that Israel will be revived, but even the exact year of its revival finds symbolism in the birth of their father Abraham. See, this is why I don't really spend a lot of time trying to prove that there's a God. Because even if I prove that there is a God, the world would then wonder, well, okay, who is this God? Can you now prove the identity of this guy? So God has called me to simply reveal prophecy because the world sees prophecy and sees how everything the Bible said has clearly been fulfilled throughout the history.